Okay, I think we are on. I think we are live. And I say that, welcome to Monday, another Monday Live. And thank you for everyone who's taking time to join myself and my guests today as we raise the vibration and share the positive. That's what it's all about. So every week I have an amazing guest that joins me at noon Eastern. So I invite you to join me here on YouTube Live as I introduce another vibrational guest. But before we begin, I'm going to, the first person to show up in the feed gets to choose which deck our focus is from, which affirmation deck. So either the I Am Vibrational, which is the orange deck, or the I Am Sacred. So if you're the first person in here, put either green or orange. And meanwhile, I'm just going to find my matches here. I'm going to light my candle, or the candle, which is going to set us up in the divine space with spirit. Here we go. There she be. She's lit, my little angel candle there. And meanwhile, I will wait to see who is going to come on here, because maybe I will get my guests to choose. So before I go on to that, I just wanted to say that this week's reading, my weekly reading, is called Hunker Down. And yes, I can see where this fits in, especially those of us living in the Northern Hemisphere. But it is more than that. Okay, so check it out after we finish today. And if you're not already subscribed to me on YouTube, press the little bell down below. That's all you have to do. Well, I think, Karen, we are going to let you choose which deck.
Orange.
Orange. Okay.
Sunny
so
orange.
I am vibration. Yes, sunny orange. I don't know whether the sun's shining where you are today, but we have rain. And in one way, I'm pleased because it's taken the dust down with all the harvesting going on. So I'm not sneezing up a storm. Oops, there's a card. It just dropped out. I love it. Oh, look at the beautiful colors. And of course, this is beautiful because this is what we're talking about here today. So it's card number 50. I am in the flow of universal vibrations of prosperity.
Yay!
All that blue and green and everything just transforming and transmuting there. So my conversation today, or the conversation we're having today, is quantum health transformation. So before I start, let me share a little about my guest, Karen Holton. She is an ET experiencer, educator, channel, guide, ascension coach. Her professional experience includes well-being and ascension coaching, which is really needed at the moment, counseling, creating and implementing workshops, lectures, self-help sessions, and consciousness-raising social events. Karen also maintains a great ET connection, which allows her to receive downloads and instructions to pass on to our human family. She serves as an exopolitical ambassador. I will find out more about that, and experiences much personal contact within the Intergalactic Resettlement Program. After receiving a major spiritual download, Karen created the Quantum Health Transformation Program to assist others to heal, evolve, and thrive. And I understand there's a free course available, so Karen will share more about that at the end of the show, I promise. I was a guest on her show recently, so it's great to hear what she does and to share with us today. So welcome, Karen.
Oh, thank you so much, Debbie, for having me on your show. It's a huge privilege. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your lovely introduction.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure there's so much more attached to this that I've not even touched the tip of the iceberg with all your qualifications and accolades and everything that you do.
Well, thank you. I'm going to keep the focus fairly narrow today because we've only got about an hour. And so I've got several hats, exopolitical ambassador hat, channel guide hat, but I really want to focus on the Quantum Health Transformation Program, which is absolutely free, no strings attached, available on my YouTube channel or my website. More about that later. It was given to me in a download. Now, a download, when I receive a download, it is from unseen beings. It's from angels. It's from intergalactic beings, interdimensional beings. And I get it within an instant. And quite honestly, it blows my mind for some time because it has to unfold within my consciousness. So it goes from a very complex symbols, body sensations, feelings, and I have to downstep that into common English. But more than that, I needed to downstep it into a universal, demystified program where it's not attached to any religion, beliefs, or cult or anything like that. I'm very much feeling like I want to, and I've been guided to help people to realize their sovereignty is within, their inner guru, it's within. Everything they need to flourish is within. And so the Quantum Health Transformation Program, it took me about 2 years to unwrap it. During this time, I was basically a social outcast because I couldn't, I was so consumed with my job, which I volunteered for, and I'm very happy to do, but to downstep this information and bring it public to the world, and the sort of dominant language, although some would probably debate this, but it is English. They speak some English in pretty much every country, so it seemed to be, that's why I guess I was chosen to do it. But the program is you can't just whip through it. It's something that I've arranged into 9 steps, and each step is extremely comprehensive with a lot of information. And I recommend people start with the orientation, and then I do it a little differently to try to shake up people's kind of linear way that we've been programmed to think. So I start with step 9, and you build your way up to step 1.
So coming up the pyramid rather than going down it. I love that.
Exactly, because we're ascending to a new way of being. Yes.
Absolutely.
And so I'll just give you, and those 9 steps can be divided up into 3 categories. So the first thing you do is step 9, step 8, and step 7. And what that teaches you is how to open your mind, how to think differently, how to think holistically, how to shake up those belief systems that have been holding us back. And that includes introduction to technologies that we don't realize are technologies. So when we expand our minds, we become technology. When we learn how to do things like grounding, meditating, earthing, being in nature, positive affirmations, visualization, all those things are technologies. So we've been taught that that's like outside of the box woo-woo stuff. No,
it's wooey.
Yeah.
And yet it's the most important.
Exactly. And those are technologies. They're not man-made. They're God or goddess, earth and heaven-made technologies to assist us. So I bring people back to that. And then I also help them to learn to do light shadow work, because people all want to be in the light all the time. Well, guess what? We all have a shadow. And if we don't address that shadow, it holds us back. It causes us to self-sabotage, self-limit. So, and also I teach people how to integrate our male-female energies, because we all have both. And if we're just trying to stick to one gender dynamic or pre-prescribed, depending on the culture you're born into, well, you're missing out on a whole lot of other gifts and ways of being and knowing. And so, so that's all within the first third of the course. So you do that first to really get yourself established and understanding who you are and how you fit with this planet, within yourself, and it's extremely important work. I also get into step 7, where we do the male-female integration. I also talk a little bit about transgender issues and why we're seeing so many transgender people, what causes that, Where's that going? I demystify a lot of that. So some people have just
Yes.
never experienced that before, and it
Yes.
freaks them out when they first find out, oh my gosh, what's that all about?
Yes. Yeah.
And so that also the first third of the program really helps us to step out of that dichotomy of limited thinking of black, white, up, down, right, wrong, male, female. That has been given to us in our programming and is severely limiting.
Yes. And what I love about it here is this is all about balance, because 2020 is the year of balance.
Yeah.
You know, dark, light, night, day, male, female, up, down, good, bad, all of those kind of things, light, dark. And so I love that it incorporates the shadow work side of things, because, you know, a lot of people shy away from that, feeling, oh no, it's dark, it's like black magic and stuff like that. And I always say to people, if you haven't sorted out and dug up all your skeletons that are buried deep in you, they will come back to bite you later on. So get them out now, clear them out. It's better to do that. So,
and our shadow side contains all the information that maybe has been forbidden in our society.
Yes.
All that information. So like, for instance, I don't like my asshole self, pardon my language, but if I don't listen to it, I'm working with less than half the information I need to make informed decisions.
Yes.
So that's the purpose of the integration. It's not to become less light or less good or less virtuous. It's to add information. And because we are in charge, we're the boss, we can decide how much of that we want to project into our lives. But being aware of it is hugely important and hugely powerful.
And the funny thing about that was, I was just saying to a friend the other day, I really had this whole rant and the other day, and things that come out of me at that time, I know how much they love me and I know how much they're here to help me, but maybe I have to clear some of my funk going on in here that's blocking me or holding me back, you know. And people go, yeah, but you've ascended, you've done that. I'm like, oh, don't believe that, please. Like, get a grip here. I am still very much a baby learning. And they're like, they look at you and they're like, come on, we're all there. We're just on different frequencies, different levels, different vibrations. So no one is better than or less than. It's just as we've chosen at that particular time in our lives to do it. So yeah, I can have rants with spirit. I have a feeling that they stand there and they fold their arms like this, going, rolling their eyes, going, eventually she's going to just shut the front door and then we can get on and do it. But we have to do that, because if not, that can build up in us as well, and we get very clogged, you know. And then we need Dynarod or something like that, or Spirit Rod.
Yes. So moving on from the first third of the program, we have the middle third of the program, and I recommend that you do start at step 9 and work your way, because each step is a foundation of learning that sets you up for the next step and level of learning. So once we've opened our minds, once we've done a lot of, get going on the kind of dirty personal work that none of us wants to do, and we get into that, we start recognizing some technologies and things like that, now we're ready to detox. So step 6 is physical, external physical, internal physical, and spiritual detoxification. And step 5 is about using food as medicine, food as technology. What is food? What isn't food? All breaking down all the lies we've been taught about food. And then step 4 is how to deconstruct from the construct. So because we're born into this construct. It's like if there's a fish in water and you ask him what's water, he doesn't know. He's been living in it all his life, right? And same with us. We're born into this construct. We were told this is how it is, but guess what? It's not. Obviously, Debbie and I prove that all the time by our spiritual adventures.
Yeah.
So getting into the detoxification, what I do is the first part of step 6 is I teach you about external detoxification, and I give you not every toxic item is on the list, but the primary toxic ingredients that are in our cleaning products, in our personal care products, in our makeup, all the things that affect the outside of our body, because 20% of our blood is constantly flowing through our skin, and everything we put on our skin is absorbed into our bodies.
Yeah.
And so after showing you from, not from my sources, but from online sources, what these toxins are and what they're doing and how they're hurting us, and then I give you recipes on how to make your own cleaning products, personal care products, for pennies, pennies, absolute pennies.
I love it.
And so your own hand sanitizer, like now they're using all this hand sanitizer with isopropyl alcohol. 20% of that's going into your skin and it's destroying people's livers.
Yeah, and I'm seeing people with dreadful skin problems from having to use it, especially people in stores or businesses where they're constantly cleaning and their hands are red raw, and it's like, oh, you know, it's like put some barrier cream on, put something on there to protect yourself, because they're having to use these products at the store and say, use this because this is what we've been told is safe. So they have no choice. And, you know, it's quite horrific at the moment with the hand sanitizers. I actually use just a little bit of lavender oil on my hands to just rub it in.
Effective. Yeah, extremely. And you can take any kind of ointment. Any kind of ointment. So we keep talking at the same time. Okay, I'll be quiet. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when I've said to people, you know, about putting the lavender oil, and they're like, yeah, but the hand sanitizers here. I'm like, if you feel that is going to work for you, fine. I just put a bit of lavender oil here on me, you know, and then I walk into the store and that's it. So sorry, I was talking over you as well. My apologies.
That's okay. No, my apology. I just get excited. And
yeah, me too.
You know, I was going to say, and that's in step 6 on part 1, external detoxification. So that's what I recommend as essential oils. And they're very powerful. I get into even thieves oil and the history of thieves oil, which doctors started stuffing rags with in masks, these beak masks, because then they didn't get sick from anybody. So these are technologies that the earth has provided for us, and were discovered by perfume and spice merchants. So there's that. Then the next step is internal detoxification. All the ways we're poisoning ourselves without realizing it. Absolutely poisoning ourselves. And so I give you I let you know about all of that. And I always give you resources to go to. And none of my recommendations in this course, I don't get paid for any of them. None of them are sponsors, none of them. So I'm just recommending them because that's what I use, what I found, and I want to give people a source so that they can get things that they need as well. And so I get into things like blue-green algae, which are wonderful for your immune system. I get into chia seeds and how amazing they are for overall health. I expose what fake food is, which is 99% of everything at the supermarket is lifeless, dead chemicals, and people don't even know. I didn't know for years. And by the way, Debbie, I weighed 320 pounds before most of my adult life, before I found out about had my spiritual awakening. And then my body made it so that I couldn't be around these chemicals. I couldn't do it. If I ate them or put them on my body, I was so sick. So it was so obvious to me how toxic they were. And guess what happened as a side effect from getting rid of the toxic elements out of my environment? I lost almost 200 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing transformation.
And I mean, my weight goes up or down. I always gain about 10 pounds in the fall, in the winter time, and then it comes off in the spring. But I'm within a healthy body weight. I don't diet. I eat as much as I want because I can. And so what happens is we produce fat cells in an attempt to isolate toxic materials that are poisoning us.
Yeah.
It's got really almost nothing to do with what you eat, unless it's toxic. Your diet's toxic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once we flush out those toxins, the body doesn't need the cells anymore. And the body's very wise, very, very wise.
Yeah. I always say to people when you're deciding what to eat, especially when people go to a restaurant, is to let you close your eyes, ask your body, what does it want to eat? And then just run your hand across the menu. Of course, if you end up in the dessert section, then I would be questioning that. But maybe you do need the sweetness at that time. Maybe you need the dark chocolate dessert. But yeah, we tend to not think about that. And I always look at it this way. If my body rejects something, and we all know how that happens, we either one end or the other kind of thing. But if my body's rejected that, then I know that that was not meant to be in my body. And that's it, you know, and then I question certain things. And we were talking about different sensitivities that have come up in the last short while, and how obviously my body has transformed from this to this. Because years ago, you know, I used to work in corporate world. Everybody wore perfume. Everybody smoked. And, you know, although smoking for me was never one of those things that I could even be in the environment with, perfume was okay. And I was saying to you now, I can't even walk down the laundry detergent aisle without throwing up about 10 or 15 sneezes, which is not really good in this environment we live in at the moment. So I know for me that sensitivity for perfume or certain smells has really, you know, it offsets in a way. So yeah, we the more we listen to our body, the easier it becomes for us to go, okay, this is good to put in, not so good. Maybe I need this at the moment, or maybe I don't need this at the moment. And this is, you know, those questions to ask ourselves, you know, a bit like the don't go shopping on an empty stomach because you're going to buy them. And I notice at the moment in all the flyers for the grocery stores and things are all promoting Halloween type things, which are all sweet and so it's like we are very much programmed, I think, a lot of the time with things. So and of course anybody that knows me knows I love my veggies, and anybody that comes to dinner with me is always surprised because there's at least 5 different vegetables on the plate. And then potatoes or whatever other parts going on there with it. And they're like, wow, why so many vegetables? And like, why not? This is what I love, you know. I love to have all that variety. So,
it's real food. It's real food. So then I also get into the mental or emotional detoxification, where a lot of us, especially in what you might want to call the truth movement or the enlightened movement, they're afraid of certain emotions because they think that it will bring their frequency down and they won't be able to have the kind of spiritual life they want. And so they really just build up a big denial system. But the full range of emotions are there to serve us, to tell us so much the way our body will react. So if you're having what you think is an allergic reaction, you can go and get tested, and then the doctor can give you a prescribed method of trying to help you with that. But really, you already know your body wouldn't be reacting if you weren't allergic to it in some sense of the word. And only by trial and error do we stop eating certain things or stop doing certain things, and then it clears up and we go, oh, that was the problem. So it's like we have to be scientists all the time. Well, the same is true for emotion. So if we've been stuffing anger, and if we've been stuffing and I had a lot of anger, a lot of anxiety, and I was stuffing it with food, and I was making myself so physically uncomfortable that I didn't feel my negative emotions. But they're there to serve us. They're there to tell us. And, you know, you might feel like you have to be really nice to everybody, but there are some people, it's not safe to be nice to them, literally. And your emotions will tell you, and you need to get in touch with your full range of emotions. So did you want to say anything about that before I move into food, Debbie?
Well, so with that, who would benefit from this program? Because I'm concluding everybody. There's this whole unlimited plethora there, and because you're going through what I call mind, body, and soul. you're not missing anything. Whereas sometimes a program is connected to this element or that element.
No,
And that's
this
what
is the
I'm
whole thing.
loving about this, that you've intertwined everything. And I love what you said about the emotions there, because again, sometimes with program, we can't feel sad.
Yeah.
We can't feel anger. That's a poor part of ourselves. And I'm like, and then what happens is we suppress it down, then we get sick.
Yeah.
And then it comes out anyway, and not in a very pretty way. So
exactly.
It's better, I always say, emotions are what we've been put here in this incarnation to experience. When we're in energy form, we're just this lovely light, love, everything's so good. But here, because of the denseness of our environment, and I don't mean dense as in stupid, I mean dense as in heavy, we get to experience happy, sad, bad, good, all of those things. And, I say you don't have to stay in one for long if you don't, but you can't suppress it, because it's just going to bring up all the other crud and crap.
Yeah.
So I love it. I'm loving what you're sharing here, and I'm now afterwards. I'm going to quickly go in and get on there and sign up for this program and go through it, because I'm still learning. So
we all are, and it was given to me. It's not like I'm that smart. Trust me. It was given to me, and that's why it's called quantum, because quantum means everything. All of it. You can't just do a little piece and ignore the other. So if you're using toxic body products and you're trying to get rid of your migraines by taking pills from the doctor, that's not going to work. And you need to know that. And so, it's extremely satisfying that I've been able to bring this to the world. Extremely satisfying.
And I love the way at the beginning when you were saying that, you get these downloads and then you have to sort of put it into what I call layman's terms.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes when spirit comes through with stuff and I write it down, I'm going, how on earth do you think anybody will even understand this, comprehend it? You've got to break it down into baby steps, because we're still learning here. You've got to bring it to this point where we understand it. And especially at the moment, you can probably attest to this. There's so much extra or intergalactic stuff that's happening, that we're not just getting our angels, our guardians, our helpers, our guides coming, but these beautiful beings from all these interplanetary levels are trying to come here and comfort us or guide us or help us. And
absolutely,
and some people are like, oh no, the ETs. I'm like, yeah, but you've got to think differently. Again, this is the programming that we've seen through Hollywood or through things that we've read and stuff like that. We've got to take it into a different perspective. I always take people back to I think it was something Encounters of Third Kind or something, where there were certain people that got it and certain people that didn't, and that was okay. It was like the transmission was sent out to all of these different individuals, but some people actually understood it and some people didn't. So I love that they're there, because it's, for me, experiencing that is a completely different energy.
I agree. And they love us. That's the thing, is the universe is programmed on the love harmonic. And that's pretty cool in itself. So just moving a little bit into food. So
before we go on, we actually have a question on here.
Okay.
And I'm going to pop it up. Okay. Antonio Gibbs said, so I'm a shaman in training and a lot of things are happening to me in the spiritual realm. Yep. Welcome to our world of crazy, Antonio. And I was wondering, do you have any advice to anyone to get guidance from? Because I really have no idea. And he's just continued that on how to do what I do, but I have made it thus far and I'm not sure if I'm doing things incorrectly. Well, I can just let you know, Antonio, you're not doing things incorrectly. When we do something that is not in line or in sync or whatever we like to call it, whatever words you give it, spirit will guide us in the next direction. Or we might be walking along this pathway and all of a sudden we come to a dead end, or it branches off and we're going off there and it's like, but my pathway I thought was here. So don't be concerned about that, but it's great that you're opening up. So Karen,
I would suggest you do the Quantum Health
Yeah.
Transformation Program, because that is going to, I actually sort of just got halfway through it now, but in telling you about it on this program,
Yeah.
but all the spiritual stuff, that comes after we've detoxified, because then we can hold the frequency. And the more frequency and the higher frequencies, once we start to absorb them and utilize them, they change us, making everything easier and better. And that's how I recommend people make contact. And it's really exciting, guys. You got to do it. And it's free. What do you got to lose, but
exactly. And Antonio's just put here, I just don't want to go to any bad places, if you know what I mean. And thank you, ladies. So yeah, as Karen was saying, Antonio, we have to visit our shadow side. It's where we bring ourselves into balance. Like, how can we know that we don't like Brussels sprouts unless we try them? That was, that was the thing with kids. If you think of kids, it's like, I don't like this. And I used to always say to my son when we were trying something, but unless you've tasted it, you can't make a decision based on you think. So taste it first. And if you don't like it, then okay, we will try it. But it's so Brussels sprouts can be like, if you say, the dark side, we've got to taste it to see. And that's not, some people think that dark side is like creating black magic or bad magic or whatever the term is. It's looking at the two sides of yourself. Because as we said at the beginning, we're both light and dark, good and bad. I love the analogy, the grandfather that says to the young grandson when he says, there are two wolves inside of you. There's a good one and there's a bad one. Exactly. Which one are you going to feed? So now we're talking the spirituality, Karen. So please go on, because I am so excited about this.
So then I get into food, and I want to say something about food. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not spiritual because you eat this way or that way. Don't let anyone tell you that.
I know. I love that one.
And I'm going to state something that's a fact, and that is people who were born along the tropics, their ancestors are from the tropics, they've lived in their tropics. They have a way of eating that suits them and is healthy for them. Now, if you take someone from the North Pole and put them on a tropical diet, they're going to get very sick. And you take someone from the tropics and you put them at the North Pole where they're eating seal blubber and mostly protein and animal fat, they're going to get really sick. So it really is very complex. It has to do with our ancestry, our blood type, our body type. And only you know what's good for you. But what I do is provide ethical sources for vegans, raw vegans, vegetarians, omnivores, keto, and carnivore. There are ethical and clean versions of all of those programs that will serve you. The key is to eat real food. What is real food, and what can we do with it? And that, I believe, Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine. Up until our modern medical industry, we used plants. We used food as medicine. That was our medicine. And then, of course, during the burning times, they got rid of all the women who were the keepers of the sacred information on which plants healed what things. Got rid of all the Aboriginal peoples and messed up with them. I don't want to get too negative here, but just to give you case in point, how we ended up here. And so you need to learn what's real food, and only you know what your body needs, what you should eat. And I would never tell you, but it really bothers me when I get uppity people who, and unfortunately, I sense, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a vegan. No. There's nothing wrong with being a Christian. But when they start pointing the finger and going, everyone else is evil, you're evil. No, that is not healthy, not productive, and certainly not true. So that's all I want to say about the food component.
I love that you brought that up, Karen, because a lot of people say to me, well, how can you be a carnivore with the work that you do? I'm like,
Easy.
is there a point to this? I'm not understanding where you're equating this information, you know. And I do know that when I'm on tour, when I'm doing my evenings of clairvoyance and very full on work, that spirit do change my diet.
Yeah.
And that's more so because I start the day 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm working right the way through till 10 something at night. And then so my eating patterns are not correlating to what they would normally be if I was getting up and doing being at home or something like that. So they're keeping me healthy. So I listen, because once I actually decided, no, that's okay, I'll eat that. And oh my gosh, did it come out of my body as quick as it went in. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I trust you on this. So you know, if you want to eat meat, that's great. If you don't want to eat meat, that's great. But don't do the holier than thou on me, which is what I sort of call it, because sometimes people get very sort of like that. I'm like, okay.
Well, those people are not respecting that we all are sovereign. We all have free will.
Yes.
And the body is, people think it's just a meat suit. No, it has its own incredible intelligence that's linked directly to spirit.
Yeah.
And only by listening to the body can we actually make changes that are healthful. And then the next level of detoxification is from the construct. So I teach you, for instance, how words are symbols, and symbols emit an energetic effect on everything. Words are like sigils. Words have power. And so we need to start examining the words we use. Is it really what we mean? Looking up the meaning. I mean, I went nuts for a few years looking up the meaning of words I used all the time and finding out, wow, they didn't even mean what I thought they meant. And so that's an important part of detoxing from the construct. And then what happens is, once you understand a little bit about what's going on, you can choose your truth. And your truth is unique and powerful and sacred. Doesn't matter if everyone points their finger and laughs at you or puts you down or calls you names. That doesn't change the fact. And no one person can point at another and say, you're doing it wrong.
Nope.
Nobody. Because we all have our own divine connection. And so how do you feel about that, Debbie?
I love it, because I've tried to explain to people, especially as this year is unfolded, that it's all about authenticity and integrity. And when we are telling somebody else what they should and shouldn't do, it really is not placing us in that place of authenticity. And I love that this is what you're saying. You know, everybody has their own pathway. Everybody has their own DNA. Everybody has their own message and reason for being here. Because if we were all here just to go shopping in Walmart, then, you know, and I'm using that as an analogy.
Yeah.
You know, if we're all there supposed to go shopping in Walmart, first of all, Walmart wouldn't be able to deal with the volume of us. And then what else do we do? So we're all here on a different pathway, a different purpose. And so this course sounds so amazing, because this is where we can all I always say deconstruct to reconstruct.
Exactly.
In there. And of course, you know, as I say to everybody, there is no easy button. And I get the sense with this course, it's taking you on this journey to cover these things so you don't miss anything. You know, everybody just wants to go from A to Z and not have to do the work. And
or take a pill. Take a pill that's going to fix everything. Yay.
But of course, it doesn't get to the core, the root, the cause. And this is why some of us keep on recycling back into it, because it's like, well, I thought I dealt with that. No, obviously I haven't. You know, and that's what I always do with me when I'm digging up the skeletons. I'm like, okay, I obviously missed something here in my speed to work through this, or my reason I wanted to get past this, because nobody likes doing what I call shift work.
No, it's yucky feelings. No one wants to go there. It's like, I say it's like cleaning out your belly button. You got to do it once in a while.
I love that. I love it. So I'm just going to pop this up here, because Antonia says, I believe it's what's in your heart and what your true intentions are behind it when you're eating food. And I also believe it is your choice It's your body.
Mhm.
Perfect. So on point. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Perfect.
we detoxed our body.
So we've opened our mind. We've
opened our
detoxed our
mind.
body, our mind, our soul, our awareness. Now we get to step into the last 3 steps, which are really exciting. Now, people all want to go to the last 3 steps, but guess what? You're not going to get out of it what you would if you'd done the previous steps.
Yes.
And I also want to say that this program, once you finish it, you go back and you start again, because you're going to get another layer of level of understanding that you didn't get before. And I recommend doing it 3 times, but I don't want to scare anybody by saying that, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm going to be honest. So then I get into manifesting, bringing more of what you desire into your life.
Love it.
And how that also is building up energy. When you manifest someone, you want something, when you want to bring something into your reality, something that's maybe never been here before, you got to be aware that you're going to have some turbulence. And that's out of chaos theory. So when something brand new is being created, it creates drag by pulling energy from other systems. So things kind of go to hell for a while before your manifestation. So don't quit when the going gets rough. Keep going, just one foot after the other. Just keep going. And I also recommend that people don't be too whimsical about what they want. Because then they're just bringing into energy stuff that they're bringing something in, and then they're collapsing it because they want something else. And they're trying to bring that in, then they're going to collapse because they want something else. So what I recommend is that people focus on the really important stuff, like, for instance, having a healthier body, removing your debt, get rid of your financial debt. And I've done these things, and I use those kind of examples. There's at least 2 videos for each step. One is the lesson, which is a slideshow, a narrated slideshow. And I narrate it so that people who can't hear can read it, and people who can't read can hear it, so that everybody has access to the information. But then I also do a live video, either a demonstration on how to make the products from step 6, or a lecture I've given or a workshop I've done that helps you to flush it out and get more information. There's actually 4 videos just for step 6. So anyway, now we're getting into that. Then after you learn how to manifest and bring stuff into your reality, then the next step is to create your own community, which includes your spiritual guides. How to do that. You see, you have free will. You can bring in anything you want. If you resonate with fairies, you can bring that in. If you resonate with angels, you can bring that in. If you resonate with some kind of interdimensionals or ETs, you can bring that in, and you can bring a combination. You can include ancestors. You can include yourself on former lifetimes. It's trippy, and you can have anything you want. Now you're going, oh my God, I'm going to create this for myself.
Yeah.
And if I can just put a little plug in for a show that I co-host with Chris Matthews from Forbidden Knowledge News, it's called Forbidden Transformation. And we've combined the quantum health transformation with speakers and other things, but that show is specifically for helping people to get in touch with ET and their higher guides to bring about the permanent changes on this earth that we all want to see. And the one thing we can all agree on is paradise. That might look a little different from you than for me. I think that's something we could all agree on, and that's a good starting point for that.
So
do you have anything you want to say about those parts?
So Forbidden Transformation show, is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, and it's every 2 weeks. The next one will be October 25th. We're having the exopolitical genius, Alfred Lambermont Weber, on to talk about his spiritual and ET experiences and how he became basically the prime exopolitical ambassador on Earth. Just an amazing, amazing man.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's every 2 weeks. So that's how we do it. So every second lesson is a guest that we talk about their experience and how they made contact. And then every alternate 2 weeks is a teaching lesson, usually with a meditation, with a slideshow presentation. And like, for instance, the last one we did, we talked about the victim triangle versus the champion sphere. And the champion sphere is really the nubby ball tool from step 9. But the victim triangle is where everybody else in mainstream thinking's mind is, and it doesn't work. So that's just as an example. So, and that's all free as well. And we have a Facebook group that's just for our viewers for that show, that's peer-to-peer support. And we have a zero tolerance for trolls or anything like that. So we've got moderators.
It's awful that you have to do this now on social media. Yeah, I've been sort of creating specific private groups for certain things so that people have to commit to it and agree to it, and you know, I'm holding people to that purpose of, and if they, you know, break those rules, guess what, you're out. And I don't mean to be mean, but it's, you know, an important, especially with people that can try and muscle in, I think the word is, and break that energy. People don't want to feel in an unsafe environment, and that's why, you know, you like I have created some private groups that people only if they run through the come through the gatekeeper, then they can come on board. And so it's sad, but it's a part of what we do. So I love that, because anybody that's watching now and afterwards, there are 4 links under Karen's name on how you can get, I think it's 4 or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 links. So how to connect with her on YouTube, on Facebook, and your Zen Dome organized. So we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll keep this going, because I'm just getting it. And of course, Karen's website as well is on there. So if you want to find out about any of the, like the Forbidden Transformation show, contact her, and then that way, because we've got the other ones on there and all these private groups, so that people can connect with you on that. So so keep talking about this. I love it.
There's only one more step.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, so the last step is going to blow your mind. If you've done 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, you're ready for step 1. And what step 1 is, it sounds very simple, but it's very interesting. It's about what are the virtues, and by exercising them, our whole reality shifts. I'll give you an example. Maybe I recognize from doing my shadow work that I haven't been very patient with people. Patience is really, truly a virtue. And so I start exercising patience with people who I was not patient with before. What happens is maybe those dynamics tend to improve, but something else happens. We actually, in my opinion, enter a portal shift, because we start finding amazing things happening in our life that don't seem related, but there's a coincidence or a synchronicity that they start happening when we start doing this kind of work. And so what it teaches us is, what is love? Love is actually an umbrella for a whole bunch of things. Love means patience, kindness, mildness, goodness, self-control, a whole bunch of things. But in each one, when we start to actually, and you can't just start doing them all at once, really, you got to pick one and you got to work on it. And then you'll notice that it's like shifting into another place in the multiverse that's a better version of what you're living now, if that makes sense. And that's frequency based. So at that point, we can maintain and hold the frequency, and we actually are able to trade places with maybe another Karen who hasn't been quite doing the work for that position, who ends up here and I end up there. But I'm telling you, it's amazing, and it'll blow you away. And that is the Quantum Health Transformation Program in a nutshell.
And of course, you're going to share, if somebody wants to do this, do they go to your website and then connect with it there?
They can do either. They can connect through it under the free resources tab of my website. And they can also do it by going directly to my YouTube channel and going through my playlists and finding the Quantum Health Transformation, or the Series 2.0 Quantum Health Transformation from my YouTube channel, which is Karen Holton TV.
Okay, so that link is on there as well. I like the fact of going onto your website, which is KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. That link is actually below the transmission that we're doing now, and will be continually there. And then go to you said the gifts, or what did you call it? The free
resources.
Free resources.
Tab,
and then I love it, because that way people are going to go to your website, see all the other neat stuff that you offer as well.
Hopefully.
Because I'm loving it. I have to share, there was something today, and I love the way Spirit give us this synchronicity, these little signs that come to us. I was having a shower. Okay, you don't have to create an image, a visual of this, but I happened to flick my hair over to wash my hair, and I just happened to see in the shower this little heart, purple heart, sparkling there in the shower, and I'm like, where on earth did that come from? It's one of those little things that you usually put into birthday cards, and then people open them and they get the sprinkles everywhere. But I'm going, how did that get in there? So I was so excited by it, because I thought, well, thank you. This is an angel message from Spirit, and of course, purple is the true heart, and of course, it was a little heart and stuff like that. And I thought, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I went to Chris. Usually takes a shower right after me, and so I went to go and show him, and it's gone. And he's going, what's gone? And of course, we laughed about it. I shared it with a friend, and she said, perhaps you're farting glitter now. I said, well, if it was a purple heart glitter, and I feel very blessed to have that transferring and transforming in my shower, because it was just that sequence of I flicked my hair over and flicked back, and there it was, right where I was standing. Could have been anywhere in the shower, or nowhere. Amazing. Or it could have been washed away, but I'm going, where did it come from? And I'm like, I know where it came from, so thank you. I love it. So tell me about your organite domes.
Okay.
Unless you've still got things to explain on the.
No, I want to show you. Just show you one. There's a pretty one right there, eh? Okay, so what I do is my quantum health transformation program is absolutely free. But I also have a shop, and my shop helps me so that I can continue to do this work.
Yes.
Right? So energy goes out, energy needs to come in. So people who want to support my work, have a look at my beautiful orgone generators. I create them myself, and then a friend of mine makes them for me. So I'm a little home-based business. My friend is a little home-based business. There's no factory work, nothing like that. Everything is handmade and beautiful. Another thing you can find on my, I have also some crystals that I also sell, just a few, not too many. And I also sell PDF copies of all my slideshow presentations. So I charge $3.99 Canadian, which is like around maybe $2.60 American. And people can actually download them, and then they've got them. And everything is shareable. Everything is open source shareable, okay? And so then you have a printed, illustrated copy that you can use for learning or for reference, or you want to create a binder, or if you want to teach it to other people, I just ask that you don't charge for teaching it, because it's supposed to be a free program.
Yeah.
And also
give credit to you, because this is the source of where it came from. And this is why I always say to people, if you are using my work, please remember where you got it from, and to share that with others. Don't claim it as your own, because I find that very, and this is where we get back down to integrity.
Exactly. And I just have to trust, because this is how my guides said to do it. So I'm doing it. And I also have services. So I also work to give all kinds of things, the quantum health transformation. If you want one-on-one time with me to help you with any particular part of it, I'm available. I do charge for that. And I also do spiritual support. I do ET contact support. So if you think you're, breaking through to your guides or ET or something, you're a little bit nervous about it or not sure, I'm available for that. Chris Matthew and I have a service we do together called Intuitive Time with Karen and Chris that you can also, and then you get both of us for the same price. And Chris just recently, he's on Forbidden, he created Forbidden Knowledge News, but he himself had never had a paranormal experience. He just had all these really interesting guests on. And then this year he had an amazing paranormal experience, and his guides told him to contact me, and he did. And that's how we created the Forbidden Transformation, which is forbidden from Forbidden Knowledge News and Quantum Health Transformation. And we combined it so that we could share what we know, what we experience with other people. And that's also all absolutely free.
I love the fact that he actually followed through, because this is why I always say to people, when you get the messages, even if they may seem obscure or weird or crazy or out of the box, as I always say, follow it through, because that's where, you know, we've been left these little breadcrumbs from spirit or from ancestral or intergalactic forces. So be there and turn up, you know, because you're missing out on something.
For work.
Show up for work. I love it.
Yeah, so, I've got a video.
I love this, the Forbidden Transformation show.
Yeah.
And he just followed. See, it was time for him to experience this, so he would be more interconnected. And I think this is where a lot of people, especially this year, 2020, are opening up, because we have had that solitude. We've had the isolation. We've had the time to do this. And we can only watch so much what I call mindless TV, and, you know, be on social media just to a certain point. And then it's like, okay, now what? And that's when we're getting all these beautiful things. So I love the idea of this this course, and the fact it is free. So people, come on, if you can't give up your time for free to assist you on your journey, then just go into sleeper mode. And I'm not judging, and I'm not telling you off here, but, you know, I hear a lot of people saying, well, I'd love to do this, but I haven't got the money, or I'd love to do that, but I can't afford it. This is your time, your energy, your input, because Karen and all her wonderful spirit connections have created this for you. And timing, look at the timing. This is perfect. Absolutely perfect. So if I wanted to purchase one of your orgone generators, where would I find them?
At www.KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com, and it's spelled I guess you can see my name on here.
It's in the link below. So again, when we arrive on your website, where do we go?
Oh, there's a banner that shows you some of my products, and then you go to shop. And depending, if you're accessing it on the phone, you go to the menu and you scroll down to the shop. There's links on the home page that'll take you to the shop. It's pretty hard not to find everything. Everything on my website. That's the other thing I got to tell you is, you know, I'm very technologically challenged, and and I don't know, the universe. Let's just say the universe maneuvered things so that I qualified for some grant money, and I ended up hiring someone to teach me how to do my own website. So I did my own, everything on that website I've done myself.
Good for you. I paid something. I just know
everything.
Certain things I can do, and then there's certain things that patience is not one of my virtues. So I found this wonderful person that does this for me, and she doesn't charge an arm and a leg as somebody.
Yeah, it's good.
So it's such this synchronicity. So anything else you want to share before we sort of wrap this into a bundle and tie it with a bow?
Yes, under the free resources. So everything under free resources is absolutely a free resource. None of it is meant to get into your pocket, trust me. And what I have there I have all my guest appearances on YouTube on people's shows, so there'll be a copy of this there. I have all the audio videos that I've made, all the visual videos I've made. The Forbidden Transformation at this point is sort of grouped in with my guest appearances and my videos. I have articles I wrote. I had 12 articles published in Sybil magazine for the Spirit and Soul of Woman, which is an international women's magazine. Those articles are all in there. And everything you have ever wanted to know or didn't even know you wanted to know about orgone generators, there's also a tab for that. So
Yes.
fill your boots, guys. That's all free.
I need to get my orgone generator. I really do. I've been guided and keep going, oh, I'll wait, and guided, oh, I'll wait. And now, of course, I'm seeing them again. I'm like, oh, yes, when I went to your website, I'm like, oh, I need one.
Yeah, they're not just beautiful, but I mean, they're not just beautiful. They also have extremely amazing health and spiritual benefits.
Yes. And so, the fact that you create them, craft them, and somebody else then puts their energy into crafting it, so it's not manufactured in a ding, 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 ding way.
Not at all.
Even more beautiful because you've got the energy of the creator and the manifester, if you like, you being the manifester and the person actually creating them, going into it. So I love that as well. And
there's actually more. What I do is when my friend makes them and I get them back, what I do is I do a cleansing ritual with them where I literally wash them and love them. I smudge them with sacred smoke. I put them in the sun, and all the ones that I have that we've created in the last 6 months have gone out into the sun during coronal mass ejection. So they're getting a piece of the sun embedded into them. I play high spiritual music to them, and then I do quantum entanglements. I just got to tell you this because it's so cool. Wow. What I do is I entangle every orgone generator I've ever had, what I have now, or what I have in the future. They're all entangled. So when they go out into the world, like into New Zealand or to England or to Arizona or Alaska, they're creating this massive grid. And then I found another person who was doing the same thing, and we traded some orgone generators and linked our grids. So this is also going on at the same time.
I just see all this huge sacred geometry of everything being interconnected and woven into it. And like when one activates, it's like, I see all these lights coming up. So it's perfect. I love it. I love it. Well, Karen, I so enjoyed you being here. I'd love to have you come back on and talk about something else in the future. So we'll talk about that when we come off show. So I'd like to say join me next Monday, noon Eastern, where I have another guest and we share the positive. Also, a quick little insight. On October the 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern, Ida Keatley and myself will be offering a full blue moon meditation and spiritual sharing. And note, it is actually Halloween. So, and that will be here in this space on the YouTube channel. So on October the 26th, I have Shelley Rusgis from Fine Herbs in Windsor, and we're going to be talking about Healthy Winter 101. So she's going to be offering some suggestions to have no flu and no winter blues. I love it. Then November the 2nd, I have Laura Dulac from Palm of Calm, and she's going to be talking about oils and how to winterize you. November the 9th, I have Ida Mae Keatley, and she's continuing on Signs of Spiritual Awakening Part 2. So we're going to pick up from where we were talking last month, I think it was, and continue that conversation. So that's when you can come and join us and throw your questions out there, and hopefully we can answer them. November the 16th, I have Gina Bengston back again with I Ain't Afraid of No Ghost. So you can have a little guess on what we're talking about there. And on November the 23rd, Sandy Wright from Wright Health Center in Windsor is going to be talking about spotting hidden allergies. So it's going to be exciting. I really appreciate Karen being here, the conversation we've had, the fun we've had, and so much free that she's given us here. I am anybody that complains and says, oh, I can't afford this or I can't afford that or, you know, all that kind of BS. No excuses. This is one that's down to you and you can actually take part in, and it is free. And all the links are down below for Karen. Go and check out her orgone. I call them igniters because that's what they are. They're like little activators, as it were. So I want to thank you, Karen, and to everybody, I want to wish you a vibrational week, embracing your true vibrational essence. So bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.